Some S2000 content for you. This car just got dropped off by a wrecker because it doesn't run. It belongs to a girl and it made a funny noise and then threw a check engine light, and she hasn't driven it since. As you see, it's been kind of sitting and it's dirty. That's terrible right there. Really? So this is obviously the tow hitch. It screws into the bumper, but of all places to put it, there, a painted surface, maybe there, a carpeted surface. So let's take a look real quick. She said it did run, but instructed the tow truck guy not to start it, just to be cautious. And you never know what the tow truck guy is going to do. Who knows if he ain't going to try and rev it and get it up on the trailer. So I want to check the oil and just check the general main areas here, and then we'll start it. I don't think it's anything too serious. One thumb up or two thumbs up?
Do you hear it?
Yeah.
It sounds so good.
It does. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Pop the hood real quick. This is where this came from. So this car we did a few years ago, and he opted to do the... See one problem already?
What's that? Oh, is that on the hood? It is. There's a line right across it.
Yeah, for real. Okay, so he wanted to do the retro upgrade by Craftworks. This is the serpentine. It gets rid of the hog bell. So oil is good. Everything else looks okay. There's nothing visually bad. You want to take a listen, George?
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
The check engine's light. It sounds like a stumble. Here it's kind of like a bubble, bubble, like a wardly sound. Often if you put your hand here and you feel random puffs as opposed to a solid smooth stream, that's what it's doing. So we've got a Misfire. Yeah, a bit of a Misfire.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound too crazy though.
No, it doesn't sound like it's making a noise. What are we seeing?
I'm going through to see if anything looks strange. It's not pulling a lot of fuel long term or anything, but the only code it has is a cylinder 3 Misfire.
06 and up cars we've seen tend to have tight lifters. In fact, that car are tight lifters too, but 06 and up seems to be more common. What we're going to do before we do anything, pull the plugs, inspect the plugs, do a valve adjustment, possibly pull the injectors, flow test the injectors. That's the easy basic things that you do. Usually do the things that don't cost you anything. If you're a mechanic at home and you have the ability, do the valve adjustment first, because it's not going to cost you anything but a valve cover gasket. Now we've got the car inside, it actually looks dirtier. So this isn't necessarily the stage I'm going to tell you to do it, but these leaves right here are kind of bothering me. So I've got to address those by using this guy. This is what it looks like under here. Well, it's not that it's bad, but you see how dark everything looks. It's got that really dark, not dark, but it's got a bronze look. This used to be aluminum colored. It used to be the same color as the head. Well, as the oil gets older, it leaves this kind of staining behind and leaves a residue. This is one of my things about changing the oil more regular. Well, if you change your oil regular, this stuff stays bright silver. This is what you can see. So all the things that you can't see have a kind of a tainted look. And again, it might not be bad, but if you're anal, you want the motor to be clean. You don't want that kind of deposit. You see how it's kind of dark around that area where the oil kind of settles? It's almost like how stalactites work. Same kind of thing with carbon and kind of junk from the oil. You see how it's kind of building up there? So it's a good idea to take the plugs out. That will make life easier by rotating the motor. Now keep in mind, this motor, the way it runs is clockwise. So when you're rotating the motor, when you're turning it, make sure you turn it clockwise. Never turn the motor backwards unless you absolutely have to. So this down here is a 19. This is where you wish you had an aftermarket intake because it gives you a bit more room. But we're going to turn this clockwise and we're going to wait until that white mark comes up on that arrow. So how you line it up, you see the line across this main gear right here, it lines up with the surface across the cylinder head, and then these two little markers right here, they're gonna join together. If you was to draw across here, it's supposed to line up perfectly, even though that mark over there isn't very visible. Sometimes you got to look at it a couple of times, but this is number one. You will line it up by this on number one. The official Honda book, it shows you right here, you see the marks I'm talking about. You're going to line this up with the cylinder head, and the very top surface of the chem towers, that's the two marks. You're basically going to draw an imaginary line perfectly through there to get those lined up right. That's going to be number one cylinder. It's not like the old cars where you just put it on the base of the cam lobe and go at it. They want it in a specific rotation. So obviously number one, just how I explained, and then from there you're going to go clockwise, and then you're going to adjust number three, which is right here. Then you're going to adjust number four, and then number two. This is what we go by. We go by inches. So we got 8,000ths to 10,000 on the intake, 10 to 11 on the exhaust. Now my recommendation is always go to the looser end of the scale. That gives you a little bit more tolerance for heat cycles. It's better to have a slightly loose noisy valve train than a tight valve train. The valve adjustment's done. There wasn't anything too far out of whack. A couple of them a little tight, so whenever you replace the valve cover, always put a new gasket kit. So it's not just the gasket around here, it's the tube seals and then the grommet seals. I'm going to show you the part number, but even if it was done a month ago, we still replace the valve cover gasket kit regardless. Even if you say, hey, I know the gasket is good, you don't want to do it twice. Do it once, do it right the first time, replace the seals. You'll thank yourself later. The gasket and the grommets right there. So the tube seals right here, that's the part number. These are sold separately. Of course, you're going to need 4 of those. Quite a bit better. Let's clean them some more. More cleaning. Alright, so it's Friday. I'm supposed to be leaving. That's George leaving. I just realized I gotta change oil in my truck. You know, I've just been telling everyone to change their oil. I gotta change oil in my truck. Hopefully you're watching the CRX series. This is what it's looking like. Next episode, we're going to be doing the air conditioning, but the motor's in, 3 mounts are on. We're going to do the air conditioning, build the 4th mount, put the radiator in, hook the hose up. Heater lines are on the back, are hooked up. We're going to modify the battery tray to put a battery tray in. I'm still kind of keeping my fingers crossed and waiting to see if an SIR airbox shows up. If it doesn't, we're going to build a stupid tube and a filter, which I really hate because it's just so generic. It's kind of like, so, okay, it's the only thing I could do. Check out the build series we did on this truck. This has been fantastic. I really like this truck. It's a 2020 Colorado. We did a few modifications to it, but this is obviously the biggest modification. This is a 2020 Silverado engine and transmission. Alright, so this kind of brings back memories doing it on the floor. Now, this is the oil filter wrench I've been talking about for years, and it's been the best tool ever. And I've been recommending it, and I've given everybody the information. Well, I was going to start selling them in the store because people have asked about them so much. And I ordered one of these, the exact one that I've been telling you guys about. This is the oil filter tool I bought probably 20 years ago. What I like about this is it expands. And it goes all the way up to the S2000 size, which is the bigger one. It goes up to that size. Well, the idea of this is, for one, it's one-hand operation. As you open this, the way I do it is I open it with one hand. And then I can put it on a filter with one hand, right here. Drop it on, and then the more you turn this counterclockwise, the tighter those jaws grip on the filter. Any metal filter, it's absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love it. You can't use this on the cartridge style filters that have the plastic housing, kind of like the Porsche, because as you turn this, you could crack the housing, and most of those, you reuse that plastic housing, you just put in the insert. So this one here, this is the one I've been recommending on a few of our videos, and I feel bad that I've been telling you to buy this. It's made in the USA, there's a few variations of it, but this is the same one right here. This is one I ordered. I ordered two of these. I've ordered from two different places to see if it was just a fluke. This looks like the same thing. Let me show you the main difference. This one here, when it expands, these jaws barely move and they lock into position. You can put a bunch of pressure on here. I've never had an oil filter that hasn't come loose with this. This, see, from side to side, it's barely got any movement. And again, we're talking 20 years old of use. This one here, when you do the same thing, watch this. And it's so difficult to see where this has gone wrong. But when you open it like this thing is all over the place. And it's to a point that it will fit a larger filter, yeah, but when you tighten this, it doesn't, look at this, it doesn't always lock into place. You see that? You've got to kind of finagle it, and then when you tighten it, it comes off the side. So I mean, this goes from being a fantastic tool to just the most annoying tool ever. And look at this, it's like, you've got to try and get it lined up. If not, it slips. And it sucks, because this is the only one you can get. I don't know what happened to this, but it's no longer available. This, I'll never ever give up and hope I never lose it, because I still use this today. So that led me to do a bunch of research on oil filter tools. When I called up Honda and I said, do you have an oil filter tool for an S2000? They said, yes, we have one. And it's this. This is what I got from the Honda dealer. This is the S2000 filter. This is the old part number. The new one is a different part number, and it's a light color blue. I'll show you one in a minute. But that isn't even close, right? That's from Honda. And I kept it just because I wanted to demonstrate in the video. I bought this one on eBay from a reputable dealer, and I messaged them and said, is it S2000 specific? They said, yes, it is. That's it. It doesn't fit. It's the same one as what Honda sell. It's the exact same part number. So after a lot of research and a lot of digging and a lot of waiting, I finally got the Honda tool. See this right here? There's the part number on it. This is the genuine Honda tool. And it shows you this in the book, but the part number in the book is different. This fits on here. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. It's like a glove. So it's very important. It's not just fits perfect to take the filter off. S2000 filters require more torque than a regular filter. It used to be where you just put them on by hand and tighten them as hard as you can, and it was good. S2000s are known for the oil filters backing out. More on track cars. We've had several customers that told us they check the oil filter between sessions because it comes loose. In the Honda book, they tell you to put numbers on here, and you line this number up with a specific point on the block, and then turn it until another number lines up on the block. There is a chart in the Honda book how to do this. This is the old Honda filter, and it's just a different manufacturer now. This was obviously Filtech. This is Mall right here. I get people ask me, hey, what do you think? What's the best oil filter? Well, as I've said in the past, oil and filter, change it more regular and use the brand you like. This one here, it has the Honda logo on it, which means Honda has tested this, Honda believes in this, and they trust it. Think about it this way. If there was a component that would help Hondas look good versus make them look bad, they would obviously choose the better one. If they supply you with a terrible filter and it obviously ruins their engines, it's going to look bad for the company. This is a very important part. So I've got trust in this. Honda selected it. Honda's put their logo on it. Honda believe this is the best filter. I still think if it's a street car, this is fine. If it's a race car, there is other choices, and that's something that we'll dig into on another video. But to confirm, the tool fits this absolutely wonderful. Look at that. And this is in the store. Now, I've been chasing this for a long time. It's been really hard to get. And as you see, we've bought about 6 different tools to come up with this one. But like I've said in the past, I only want to sell you something I would use. And now we've found out how crappy this thing is. Don't use it. Don't buy it. Don't get it. Even if it says made in the USA, this is a bad product. And it's going to result in people slipping and busting their knuckles and cussing. And eventually saying, hey, John at LHT recommended this, that's why I bought it. I don't want you to use it. I don't want you to use anything I wouldn't use. And this is no longer available. This is terrific. I'm going to retire with this thing. So these are in the store. Check them out. Oil filter tool. Give us some feedback if you want me to start carrying oil filters. So if you're buying something from us, that you can buy the filter. And it will be the Honda filter. It's the only one I'm going to sell. Maybe we'll put these together in a package. Then when you buy them together, you save a little bit of money. Then afterwards, you can buy just this. Everything is going to get to you between 1 and 3 days. I selected it that way because I want people to get fast shipping, and you will get a tracking number with everything you buy from us. So there it is. It's in the store now. I managed to get, I think, 17 of them. I've got 50 on order because I believe it's something we need. This is the best funnel, by the way, if I can get it in the light. You see that? This is by Flow Tool, made in the USA, Spill Saver. We actually got this up at a grocery store when we visited the Dragon. We found them there. I got it a few years ago. Well, last time we went, I think they had 3 and I bought them all. But nice thing is it fits in there pretty tight. And because it has an air gap around here, you can fill it and it will flow pretty fast, obviously, because as the oil goes in, there is a place for the air to escape. Sounds silly, but you'd be amazed how many funnels kind of glug and splash oil everywhere. This doesn't glug. Plugs didn't look terrible, but they were a little sketchy. The gaps were large. It looked like they've been in there a long time. We have fresh oil, injector clean, and a fresh valve adjustment, so it should be good. Compression came back perfect. We always like to do a refinish on this and put our new stainless spark plug cover bolts in there. I'll show you those in a minute. They're available in the store. We don't offer this as a service. We don't even charge for this. It's just one of those things that we like to do. Part of doing work in that area. Whenever we have to take this off, that's just something we do. I'm going to show you it here in a second. Everything looks nice now. You see how much better that looks, and it's one of those little things that doesn't cost a whole lot, but it just makes the customer feel better when they pop the hood and they see that we've done something extra. Those little bolts make such the difference. They're stainless steel, they're perfect fit. They just replace your factory black ones, and by cleaning up the spark plug cover and surfacing it, it gives it that nice clean look. So let's go ahead and start it, see how happy it is now. Temperature now you can hear it's just got a smooth tone. It's not popping or puffing. This is like one of those dead giveaways. If you stand behind your car while it's idling and you just get like a puff or a pop and you put your hand here and feel that puff of air, that's a misfire. And it's usually valve related, spark plugs related. Obviously it can be injector related. Typically go through the whole scenario. Fingers crossed you fix it. Worst case, it's valves actually leaking, the valve guides, the valve seats, the valves. We see that a lot. But fingers crossed, it's an easy fix like this one. So this one's done. We can call her and let her know our suspicions were correct. Nice and crisp. this one's good to go. Go ahead and order your oil filter tool. We have them in the store right now, and of course the little spark plug cover bolts, the stainless ones, just gives you that nice touch. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Don't forget, enjoy your cars, and more importantly, take care of your cars.